This is in response to this week's Jeff Koinange Live. I would say that no doubt this is one of the best JK Live ever. The list of the invitees was, in my view, representing anti-government and pro-government. I think this idea of inviting people to handle issues where both sides are equally represented, to me that is good. I think Jeff Koinange and all other such programs should do that, so that if there is a topic, you don't, for example, invite people who are, all of them are pro-government, or all of them are anti-government. We should try as much as possible to be bringing an equal number of people, so that we can, the viewers can hear and see for themselves to make a decision. The elder from Manyulia, I know someone will ask me, why am I calling it Manyulia and people call it Emanyulia? Among lawyers, we add an E, just like Kalenjins. Kalenjins, for them to talk of a place, they add a T for Tanzania at the end. That's why you hear Eldoret, Bomet, such things. It shows that this is such a place. But among Luhyas, they start with an E. Like Nairobi is called Nairobi. So they have to start with an E. But that E is never written. It is you who pronounce it, place it there. So when I say Manyulia, I mean Emanyulia. The elder from Manyulia was the moderator, even though we know his history, that he rarely agrees with those in the power. There is the young lady who is a producer. I am yet to be convinced about her relevance. I want also to say this thing, that this thing about gender. Whenever there is an issue, oh, let us introduce gender, 1/3 gender and whatever. Kindly, when we have an occasion, a function, where the question of gender comes in, let us also be having people who visit that place or who participate in such things also come in with ideas. We may have 1/3 participant being of one gender, but are they also contributing something intellectually, or we are placing there ladies so as to see, to fulfill the number? We count, if there are 9, there are 3 ladies. Even if there are 3 ladies, they should also bring up intellectual questioning that is equivalent to 1/3 or even more. There is a young man whom I have never known, but whose scripts were not only hilarious, but very educative. Very educative. He talked about the idea of picking anybody and appointing the ministers. It was so hilarious that at times somebody is just talking, eating mira, is it mogoka? And then suddenly he's called and told, he's called and he's told to take a, what do you call, a photo session with a paper written minister for this and that. In fact, some were knowing of their ministries that they were appointed at the time of photo shooting. They were trying to read the certificates like paper indicating their appointment. This one, That is why people will always go for plays. Plays is telling people the truth in a humorous way. Uh, of course, in Kenya, for someone to be appointed a minister, you have to go through parliament, you have to go through vetting and whatever to be seen whether you are suitable for that. And I remember in this circle, there is somebody, a lady, I think, who was appointed a minister, and when she went to parliament, the, the the National Assembly rejected her. So even if it is 1 in 1,000 chances, but nowadays it is possible to have them rejected. But the humor that this young man was saying that caught my eye was that it is possible to be appointed a minister, and while you are having a photo shoot, you look at the paper to to ascertain which ministry. Uh, that is the good thing about drama, is that they pass a message in a humorous way. I was happy when both Itumbi and KJ said that whatever happened in Nakuru was the work of overzealous security people. This one goes in tandem with this goes in tandem with my upload immediately after the incident. No wonder people say that I am a Ruto agent. It appears that my line of thinking is very much in tandem with them. Although I would want to reinstate that I am not, but it shows that it shows a lot of things. It shows either I think along the same lines with the Ruto administration, or even the Ruto administration may be, who knows, they may perhaps be looking at my videos and acting upon them. But should I complain? Suppose I would have advised the Ruto government and they did the opposite. See, that is when I'm supposed to complain, isn't it? But if I tell the Ruto government do this and this, then I don't know whether it is coincidental or whatever. They do the same. Am I supposed to complain? Of course, Kenya is a complaining nation. You do the government does what you want, you complain. The government does what you don't want, you complain. But when when the government does what I've said, it makes my day. I like the diplomatic way that the two young men, Itumbi and KJ, handled Malala. I like the way they diplomatically handled it. I can handle Malala, the artistic, and not Malala, the politician. That was KJ. It was a very, very enlightened way of reacting it. I remember Malala being asked what he did for the theater when he was the SG. He retorted that he was doing a collective service. He never told us why he stayed on when he didn't agree with the so-called collective service. Uh, by telling us that what he was doing and saying was collective, it means that if he would have still been there, if he would still have been there, uh, he he would still be supporting the government how it is. So these are the people whom I'd advise anybody, any Kenyan or anybody interested in Kenyan affairs, to disregard, because he is, without even blinking his eyes, he's telling us that he goes as per where he is. Now, when he was the Secretary General, he went by that. And now that he is not the Secretary, if for any reason he goes back as the SG or minister or whatever, then he would be trumpeting that. We would want somebody who is principled. We have had people, I know Malala is going to be the deputy party leader of Farmers. Is it called Farmers Party? Farmers Party, I think, is the party that marked my day. I've just said it, and this is the second time that Farmers Party is the one that Rigathi Gachagua is going to take, and the party leader will be Gachagua, deputy party leader will be Malala. You find that Rigathi Gachagua and Malala, both of them, when they were in authority, they saw a lot of things that was going wrong, but they say that they stood by those things because of collective whatever. And again, they did not leave their offices in the principle. Take a person like Martha Karua. Martha Karua, when she was the minister for, when Martha Karua was the minister for constitutional affairs, judges were appointed. During those days, the president would appoint judges. The president and the then attorney general appointed some judges to the superior court. They did not involve the minister for justice and constitutional. And Mother Karua found that one to be out of place, so she resigned. Both Rigathi Gachagua and Malala never resigned, and they just waited for them to be out of the government when they start saying, and they even start, just like Jugusha said, that when he was there, he saw all these bad things, but did not talk until he came out. In actual sense, he was ejected while throwing his legs out left and right. Both the two of them never left the way Mother Karua did. They were ejected while it's like being moved out of the house. You even try to hold the door, whatever, kicking and whatever. Such people should not be trusted. I would even say that the government did very bad to ban the book. The government did whatever, because Malala's worst enemy is himself. Just give him a microphone and give him a debate, like the debate he was having with Itumbi yesterday. You'd find that Malala was coming out as a poor debater. Malala came out as a poor debater who did not even allow Itumbi to say. When Itumbi is given a chance to talk, he goes and tries to silence him and whatever, to an extent that Njugush found himself reluctantly siding with Itumbi. The whole world was informed that whoever took over from Malala started projects that are relevant to acting. So Malala here, who is shouting himself hoarse, trying to show that he's very good in drama issues, when he was removed from Secretary General, the person who took over from him started a project that is advantageous to people in the acting environment. So is this thing of the government just banning Malala's meetings, tear gassing people? They should have just left him, and very sure I can tell you that Malala is his own worst enemy. It was wrong for Malala to insist on the president to apologize to the school and make a special show within the State House. You see, these are the people. And I'm now, you see, my mother is from Madeira, and my mother was from Madeira. My father was from Kakamega. So I'm supposed to be a very strong supporter of the party that Malala and Rigathi are going to start. But then these people, the two of them, I get the impression that they really overrate themselves. They really overrate themselves, and they have so big what do you call sense of entitlement, a sense of entitlement. Let me say this and let me repeat it. It was wrong for Malala to insist that the president has to apologize to the school and make a special show within the State House. When you seek for apology from somebody, you don't set their conditions. You don't set their conditions. Well, it depends on your power. It depends on your power. If you are an Agwambo who can make the whole country stop. Then somebody does what you have said from A to Z. You'll go home, what do you call? You'll go home being happy that the president has fulfilled your condition. But the fulfillment of the condition should not be physical, but it should be spiritual. Uh, I thought that apology should be voluntarily, and any additional thing, such as a special appearance in the State House, should be the president's initiative. Hmm? Now, if you come to me, and okay, I've done wrong to you. You tell me, okay, for you to prove that you are regretting what wrong you did to me, can you do this? It is really bad. I think the verbal what you call verbal apology is enough, so that the person who has wronged you is the one who, in his own initiative, is the one who is supposed now to come up with things that are physical. It is him or her to come up and say, okay, since I've wronged you here and there, now this is what I'm going to do. According to Malala, nothing short of the play being played in the State House and whatever. They could play in State House where the president is just open-eyed and closed ears and whatever. And the play goes and they go. But if the president himself would have offered, okay, you can come. And Kipchirchir, that is a sly squirrel. He would take such an advantage to turn that school against Malala forever. But anyway, that is not what we are talking. We are not talking of Kipchirchir. I'm talking of Malala or apology. It is supposed to, when somebody has wronged you, he's supposed to apologize. When you have accepted the apology, is when the person who has wronged you now offers to do a thing or two to please you. It is now when the president has apologized to Butere girls that it is only after the president has apologized to Butere girls and Butere girls have accepted, that is when he can now request them, can you now come to State House and make the play? Or can I come to your school and build a school hall in my own? Now, hey, I know that Malala wrote the book, but Malala is not a member of staff in that school. And Malala is only related to that school as far as drama festival is as on. Once the drama festival is on, the school goes on whatever. So he cannot sit down and say A, B, C, D. No. Okay, I would expect Butere girls to give. Yeah, they are the ones who have been wronged. If Butere girls would have given the president conditions and say, okay, since you did that, and we insist that we have to, but him as a third party, that is very unfortunate. That is what I said. Uh, Then he brings in the stories of two drug barons in the cabinet. Now, how does that? He's talking of two drug barons now in the cabinet. How does that got to do with school drama festival? Sincerely, Malala, if you're watching, tell me. And that one also goes to prove that Malala is he has whatever. Okay, yeah, manene menipotea. But what I'm trying to say, supposing Malala is giving this is the point I was trying to say. Malala is giving us an impression that when you please him and when you go according to what he wants, he'll not disclose anything bad about you. But when you cross swords with him, he'll disclose everything. If Malala would still be the Secretary General, he would not have commented about school drama. He would not even have scripted the play. He would not even have commented about the two drug barons who were in the cabinet. Hmm? He would not have. And he would have kept quiet because of collective what? Whatever. So Malala gives us the impression that for the president or anybody else to keep Malala's mouth shut is to make him have something that he wants. Because if he was still, and that question I think was asked several times. If I'm not wrong, Juhus asked, and if I'm not wrong, Jeff Koinange asked. Supposing, just supposing, Malala would still have been Secretary General, he would not have noticed the two drug barons. He would not have noticed whatever. But whoever took over from Malala, and if I remember very well, I don't think that fellow has ever been associated with the drama festival, but he has started things that are relevant to drama festival. So I think that point has been. And then there is the unfortunate comment about Grammy Awards. Malala didn't know a thing about it, unfortunately. But that thing is as clear as day and night. And I'm getting the impression is when Malala was the SG and he used to attend cabinet meetings and whatever, was even aware of what was being discussed in the cabinet. Uh, I'm a member of various Facebook, social media accounts from my home area, but we have a few people who are fluent in Lingala. There are occasions when we start communicating in Lingala in Luhia Facebook account or social media. And you find those who do not understand Lingala, they just keep quiet and we talk among ourselves, and then after that we say, let us revert back to Luhia. I think that is what happened to Malala when he was a cabinet minister, such that when others were talking things, he would just keep quiet the way people kept quiet when you were talking Lingala. And if you ask him what was being talked about, walikuwa wanaongea lugha yao tu, hata wenyewe ndio wanajua, because things such as bidding for Grammy Award in a place like this, it has a ripple effect, and I don't want to go into that because it will take a lot of your bandwidth. You know, for Grammy Award just to be shown in Nairobi, like previously in the 80s, such things were supposed to happen in Nairobi, and we refused. And most of the films which were acting about Maasai, about lions in Kenya, went to be acted in South Africa. He doesn't know that. He has offered himself as a future excuse for future non-participation in theater and any other fields such as athletics. You know, in schools we have athletics, we have football, we have basketball, we have whatever. And you'll find those schools, let's say the hockey coach, right? Coach may even not be a teacher, may not whatever, somebody in the neighborhood who has offered. And in many cases, these people are doing it free of charge, free of charge. And I would want to challenge any of you who knows of a school which is nearby. Go and ask, and just you'll find that the person who let's say coaches athletics in a nearby school say, I just did not want to divorce myself from. I did not want to divorce myself from the game that I like. That is why I offered myself without any salary. And some even don't even get allowances to do that. So Malala himself has offered himself that at worst, the government is going to stop all outsiders from coaching because according to regulations, it's the teachers who are that level. So at worst, non-teaching will not coach students. And if they don't coach students, you'll find that instead of our drama festival going up, it's going down. It's going down. Or at the best, now that is at worst. At the best, the NIS will now go to every school. Now, from today onwards, that is at the best. You'll be found that at those zonal area and zonal area, will be told that for a school to present a play at the zonal area, an NIS officer will have to read through and try to interpret what is being written between the lines. And the NIS officer will not just be satisfied with that, The NIS officer will now start monitoring it at zonal level, county level, is regional level. Malala. Don't be a Samson. Eh? Is it Samson in the Bible who said he'll not die alone, but he'll die with a lot of people? There is need to address the issue with outsider coaches. After all, it is our students and our children. I think uh, people like Itumbi and KJ, they are closely well placed in. They are well placed in a government circle. I would really would have wished if they used their closeness to the government to address those issues. Malala has spoiled it forever. I am a former NIS officer. I'm telling you that in future, all places, even starting from sub-county level, you'll find that now a script have got to be sent to the NIS office for trying to see if there is anything between the line. Then there is something that Njuguna brought that which he called major minor government. That our government is major minor. It concentrates majorly on minor issues. There is no way you can describe President Ruto more than those things. You find that Ruto spends a lot of time commenting on issues which are beneath his, not even beneath the president's level, even beneath a governor's level. Now, for example, was it very necessary for Ruto to comment that Gachagua was complaining that he was fighting Itumbi, he was fighting Farouk Kibet, eh? So, and you find that that is why I'm very much against the president going on to these rallies and whatever. He should spend more time in the office doing whatever, fulfilling the many promises he has done. And Jugush was very right when he said that the Ruto government and Ruto himself, he majorly concentrates on minor things, things which are like now. He was saying that he's going to do the exam in 2027, is whatever. My goodness, 2.5 years in service and 2.5 years towards the next election. And that is why for umpteenth time I'm saying that Njugushi was very right when he said that this is a government that majorly concentrates on minor things. Uh, JK uh, JK interferes in several talks. When you talk on something serious, when you talk on something that is educative, something that is non-sensational, you'd find Jeff Koinange interfering and even confusing you to the matters of you have your line of thought, the way you have planned how this sentence is going to give way to another sentence and is going to give way to another sentence and whatever. Then he interferes with you. In such places, like a person like Itumbi heads a department that does with the creative whatever. When such a person comes to your studio, I think I would feel that such a person should be given time to expound on government's projection along his jurisdiction. I would really want him to be given that chance and even to be interrogated there. But I've already said it before. Uh, Jeff Koinange is a Finyo fellow. He likes sensational people like Kina Miguna, people who, like the other time, Miguna had to tear papers on set. He had to do whatever. So, person like Jeff Koinange, I've always had this belief that he does not concentrate on serious issues, but he concentrates on sensational things that make that are just more of a drama than more of a drama than serious talks. Uh, I liked the way KJ talked about balancing on issues because I think KJ was trying to tell all, especially Jeff Koinange, that we should avoid the situation where it is like a competition on who can outshout the other between Itumbi and and Malala. But I would say that Malala had one issue there. I think Malala had decided that Itumbi was not to talk because around three times Itumbi was telling Malala that when you talked, I did not interfere with you. So Malala was just howling if if I have to use my strong word. And Njuguna also said that he sees why Malala was removed from being the Secretary General of a party, and I agree with Njugush because Malala thrives on hooliganism, thrives on shouting, making, not giving you chance to talk and whatever. And one thing I noticed, Malala was all the time on phone, on social browsing and whatever, but other people are talking from their nini. So I think as I tell my cameraman to switch off, I would say that I still blame the government for trying to gag Malala. I think Malala is his worst enemy, and the best way to gag or even to finish off Malala is just simple. Why don't you give him the platform to talk? And you know, when you give him platform to talk, he talks nothing. He talks nothing. And I scratch myself and say, hey, although I'm not a voter in Kakamega County, but I ask myself, is this the person who wanted to be the governor in my home county? Really? I have never interacted a lot with Fernandez Baraza. So I usually see his clips. I think Fernandez Baraza, from the little that I know him, uh, he's a mature person. What what Fernandez Baraza lacks is a deputy. If you attend Savula's public meeting, uh, you'd even think that he has smoked bang. But I think he's a Munyore. I think he's a Munyore. So what I would try to say is that if the government is hearing me, give Malala all the time to talk whatever he talks. Look at Wamunyoro fellow. He has talked a lot of things. Even right now, is Muturi even talking anything? They have exhausted their topics until Wamunyoro now is now talking of a man who hears that he's going to be assassinated at a certain meeting. He tells his wife to go there, and he skips. Now, suppose his source of intelligence was right. Suppose it was right that the source of intelligence was right that he was to be assassinated. So he was taking his wife there as a decoy. Not only am I talking to him as a man, but you see, for you to be a district officer in Kenya, nowadays they're called administrative officer. For you to be a DO in Kenya, you have to undergo a paramilitary course. Here is a person who has attended a paramilitary course and he gets credible intelligence that his life is in danger, and he exposes Pastor Dorcas. Pastor Dorcas is two things. Pastor Dorcas is his wife. So this is like a GSU officer knowing that he's about to be assassinated. Then he takes his wife there. Two, maybe your wife could be a teacher. I mean, you could be a teacher and your wife could be a GSU officer. That one is understandable. But here is a situation where you are a paramilitary officer who has trained in paramilitary, who knows how to handle these things, and your wife is a pastor who has attended a theology school, I'm trying to say that if your spouse, if your wife was a GSU officer and you are a teacher, it would be a bit understandable. But here is, first of all, the wife. He is exposing his wife. Men are not supposed to expose their wives. Two, the wife has been trained in theology, and the husband has been trained in the paramilitary. And what does he do? Of all his wisdom, he decides to expose his wife. That is why I would ask Ruto and his government to let these people talk. They will shoot themselves in the foot. But anyway, the truth be told, I have this feeling that Ruto tends to side with people who urge him on. If you tell him otherwise, Ruto will not listen to you.